Jacinte Blankenship is the Emmy-nominated star of the web series Intersection. I'm Matt Noble of Gold Derby, and I wanted to kick things off, Jacinte, by asking you, where were you when you found out you're an Emmy nominee this year?
Uh, I was at home on my cell phone. I think I was scrolling through Amazon Prime deals, and I saw a notification from someone saying, "Congratulations on your Emmy nom," and I kind of just stopped for a second, like, what is this person talking about? Yeah, and so I went to Instagram and looked and texted my EP real quick, Meg Mesmer, and said, "Hey, is this real?" And yeah, it just kind of snowballed from there. I started kind of, hyperventilating and pacing around the house and, doing deep breaths to calm myself down. And finally, I went to the Emmys website and saw my name there, and just flabbergasted. Couldn't believe it.
Well, you're nominated for actress in a short form comedy or drama series. And what does it mean to get recognized for a project like this, which is a web series on YouTube?
It means a lot, actually. Thank you for asking that, because before I hadn't really created anything before, as far as like my own content. And when I decided to collaborate with the other four ladies, the other four writers of this series, it just opened up a world of like agency and like not having to wait for a yes. And so, it was really wonderful to create it and like get it done, but then also have it be recognized. Is just, I mean, what more can you ask for? It just was out of my awareness that this could happen. So it was already so gratifying just to do it and like, give myself a role that, I felt I could sink myself into and, just really like be present for. And then this is just like the cherry on top. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's really encouraging to do more of that.
Mm. Yeah, you talked about this role you've created, this character. Talk us just a little bit through like what her drive is and what you're trying to say through her.
I think Jania's drive is one, just to protect her family, her son. I think a sense of just like stability and like giving him the things that he needs to be thriving, as a human being, is like of utter importance to her. And so community is really important. And so when that's threatened, it really is, a huge fear for her, to lose, what's familiar to her and what is like essentially her foundation. Yeah, it's a scary thing to have that threatened when you really didn't have much, input on whether or not it's happening, Yeah, so.
Yeah, well, like, yeah, because the show like delves into like issues like gentrification, what it means to be an ally, and this whole idea of community and what makes up a community. And it covers a whole range of different perspectives and experiences of those issues. What do you think? What is the show trying to say, and what do you think is important that people watching the show take away from it?
I think there's a few things that the show is trying to say, but for the most part, I think, gentrification is happening. It's not stopping, and this is, happening in so many different cities across the country. But it is an eye-opening thing to have a state of being where, you're living somewhere, and because, other drivers come in, corporate monies, other, classes of people come in and immediately drive up the cost of your property, or bring in different factors like, oh gosh, different maintenance or stores or whatever. But for the negative parts of it, the adverse parts of it, it just really is a sign that we need to integrate more, and not really separate and segregate. I think it's a call to say, hey, if we're going to live in a neighborhood that's historically been one way and it's changing, let's accept the culture that's been there. Let's, celebrate the culture, but also, be in harmony. I'm trying to find my words here, but be on the same page as far as like bringing the neighborhood up and accepting the people that have been there. A lot of times, folks who move in from other places are not really as cognizant of what's existed there before and try to rebrand it or rename it or make it something else, when what's actually happened there is also really, really beautiful too. The community that's been established there is also really, really beautiful. So I hope that's what people take away from it, is just being open-minded and like wanting a sense of connection as, our neighborhoods further integrate.
Yeah, like something like I took away from watching it as well was this idea that like it can be problematic when you look for solutions without listening to people affected by those
Absolutely.
solutions. And what role did you who were collaborating on this project, how important was the role of listening as you develop these characters and storylines in terms of the people you're working on the show with?
It's interesting because the people I worked on the show with, the other ladies, there's Karen Cisse and Meg Messmer, Moretta Moss, and Jenica Hill. And we all have our personal journeys in this city when it comes to gentrification. And so even in our writer's room, we had to sit down and listen to each other's experience and say, okay, that's valid. You do just want to find an affordable place, and this is the only neighborhood that you can access. So what does that mean when you start to, move into the neighborhood? How do you connect with your neighbors? How do you get involved with the community? How do you, introduce yourself? And how do you, just move around in the common spaces in the neighborhood? So it got a little, I don't want to say tense, but like it got contentious at times. Like, okay, wait, didn't realize that, but now I see it a different way. So it was interesting just to have, what's happening in the issue of gentrification happening in our writer's room too, because it just kind of was like a really, really crazy parallel, between the two. It was so wonderful to experience, to be honest.
Did some of the some really gem ideas or great ideas come from that tension or those different perspectives in the show?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I mean, that's how you get to solution. That's how you get to like brand new ideas is, working it out. You may have like a little bit of a conflict or, an argument or something, but if you get to a common ground and say, you know what, let's see how we both can move forward, it often is way better than how you started. We wrote this during the pandemic, and so much was happening, in the world around that time. And so we even delved deeper into, the political scene here and did our own little projects of like talking about candidates and, putting the word out about who people were. It was awesome. It really was.
Oh, that's great. And I guess also like a big sort of something in the show is also, I guess, this idea of like people having genuine care about issues, but maybe not everyone being prepared to, particularly the white people in the show, being prepared to sacrifice for the other person or the other people affected by decisions. And I guess what is in terms of listening to others, like what is something you were maybe hoping people heard or saw a different perspective on from watching the show?
Ooh, question. Well, to be honest, I hope they discover that even within a certain like community and demographic, there is not a monolith of thought or belief about what's happening. You see that with just, the three characters of OG, Jermaine, and Janai, like very different perspectives on what's happening in the community. And they're very close knit, and so I think, going back to what you said, like the intent on listening and, realizing that there's tons of desires, tons of things that, could happen in a certain community, that like, it's important to listen to everybody. There's not just one way forward. right now, affordable housing is a big deal here in this city. And so I think collectively, we all need to be, championing that. I think just displacement all over is just, it's just not acceptable. It's not. There should be a solution for the folks that make the city so beautiful. So I hope that is something that everyone is taking away from, this issue, is that it is not okay for people to be displaced.
And to go back to your performance, like, this is a show which has some real, like, as we've talked about, touched on some real poignant and important issues. It's also like, it's also really funny at times, and there's really like funny beats and stuff. You have a big scene towards the end of the series where you sing a song to your son, or your character sings a song to her son. How do you approach that scene, which is quite a emotional one?
That scene's a doozy, because it, you just, there's so much helplessness in that moment, because there's not a lot of control for Janiyah there. And she's looking at her son and not having any answers, but still having to be a mom and somehow reassure him that it's going to be okay. And so she goes to this song that she sings that, comforts him, and like, has this message of togetherness and essential, happiness and joy. And so it's the one thing that she can, tap into to settle in the moment of like a lot of despair, so I don't know, that scene was really, really, that was one of the last scenes we shot of the day. We shot this over 6 days, so it was like very chaotic at moments. But Meg, our EP, actually was my director in that scene. And she really created space to just, support what was happening in there. It was whoever didn't need to be in the room wasn't there. We talked through it, we settled down, we took our moments, got quiet, and then we started rolling. So it was that was something. That was one of my favorite moments to work on.
Do you have another moment as an actress on the show that sticks in your mind? It was particularly challenging.
Gosh, particularly challenging. I wouldn't say challenging, but there were just other moments that I just completely enjoyed. Like the scene in the church, the community meeting, where, the developer is coming and he's making his speech, and we're all sitting there, just really, just kind of smug. And Jermaine walks in, like, just the comedy between all that happening was too much fun that day. I would be in between takes just dying laughing, watching Spencer. That was just him deliver that monologue, and that whole scene was it was a joy to be a part of.
You did say, when you were singing that song, or when your character sang that song, she said the more we get together, the happier we'll be. What brought you a real happiness and joy from working on this show?
One, the four ladies. Like, I for honestly, when I started this project, I was super apprehensive. I just didn't think I had the skill to contribute. I see myself as an actor first. And so I didn't know that I could lend my voice in this way and it be effective. And I actually got so much more confidence as a writer and producer having done this. And so collaborating with them really is one of the biggest joys of this process. And then two, just our community is so amazing here. I mean, we did a Seed and Spark campaign, and we raised a lot of money through that, and our family members and peers were giving money and supporting us and showing up on set and being an extra, or like it was it was mind blowing how much support we got, you know, to produce this. And so between, you know, realizing I had this part of me that existed this whole time, and also seeing our like Atlanta filmmaking community come together was overjoying. Like my heart is just so full, like thinking about it, really is.
Mm. If you were to like summarize what this show is in one sentence, what would that sentence be?
We all come from different backgrounds and perspectives and directions, but as we intersect, there is a middle point. There is a point that we all connect, and that's the point of it all. Wherever we find connection is where you find all the beautiful things in life. That's where you find, you know, justice, love, you know, support. Oh gosh, just that's where all the wonderful things exist, where we connect. So I would say, I know that's more than one sentence, but that's
That's
the
good.
essence of the show.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Are we going to see season 2? Season 2?
We hope so. We
Okay.
so hope so. So hopefully the show gets more attention from this nomination. Hopefully we get more views on YouTube, and we really, really hope that there is more development opportunities and offers for this, because we basically wrote like a short form of a long series to kind of get to the point of what we could offer in our storytelling. And so there's so much more to explore. You know, there's the politics of it all. There's, you know, so much more to explore when it comes to the issue of gentrification. It's kind of like The Wire. You remember how The Wire just kind of went through all these different areas of, you know, the drug game in Baltimore. So I think that's kind of like how I see this. It's just there's so many different areas that we could address, and we would love the opportunity. Love it.
Well, Jacinte, thanks so much for talking to us today. People can check out Intersection on YouTube, get those views up, and all the best of luck for the Emmy nominations. People can also go to goldderby.com to make your own Emmy Award predictions and join the discussion in our forums. And Jacinte, thanks so much for giving your time today, and also all the best of luck for the Emmys coming up this month.
Thank you so much.
No
Really
worries.
appreciate it. This is so fun.